What's up, traders? Today we're pulling back the curtain on the ORB Range Architect, the most powerful session mapping tool I've ever built for MetaTrader 5. Here's what it does in one sentence. It automatically maps the institutional opening range of every session, every day, and every week, directly on your chart. No manual drawing, no guessing, just clean, precise structure. And those levels? They predict where price is going to move, stall, and reverse before it happens. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you're going to see your charts completely differently. Let's start with the settings, because this is where you customize the whole thing. The first option you'll look at is the cycle, and you've got 3 modes: session, daily, and weekly. By default, we're on session, which is where most of the action happens. Within session mode, you have 2 options: automatic and manual. Automatic is smart. The indicator calculates the 3 main trading sessions for you. Manual lets you define your own time windows if you're targeting specific markets. Either way, the result is the same. Now, the critical setting, range duration. This is how many minutes you want to mark as the opening range. I recommend 14, which captures exactly the first 15 minutes of each session. That's the window where institutional smart money places its bets. Change it to 30 and you're mapping the first half hour, totally valid for a different trading style. The flexibility is yours. Just pick a number, apply it, and watch the levels load instantly. Here's what makes this indicator different from everything else out there. You're not just getting one session, you're getting all 3: Asia, London, New York. Each one has a high and a low, color-coded and labeled directly on your chart. Why does this matter? Because the levels from one session become the targets and magnets for the next. When Tokyo closes, that Asian high and low become key reference points that London is going to probe. When London closes, New York uses those levels. It's a cascade of institutional intent, and now you can read it. The color zones make it visual and instant. You can see at a glance which level belongs to which session, how far expansion has reached, and where price is likely to go next. This is your trading roadmap. Let me show you a real setup on the chart, because this is where theory becomes money. Here, we had New York's session high sitting as resistance. During the Asian pre-market, price pushed above it, but it couldn't hold. Then Tokyo opened, took out the Asian session high, and immediately rejected. Hard. What was the signal? A cluster of doji candles stacking at the level. Look at the bodies, none of them close above the high of the previous candle. That's a textbook institutional rejection. The zone is holding. Then London opened, and price did exactly what the map predicted, straight down to the Asian session low. That single move? $230 on gold, from top to bottom, and the levels were printed on your chart before price ever got there. Here's the key discipline. On a move like that, after the day before already expanded hard to the upside, you should be looking for the correction, not chasing the breakout. The ORB Range Architect tells you the direction. You just have to trust the map. This is the core of how you manage your trades, and it's simpler than you think. After a range breaks out, the indicator projects expansion levels: level 1, level 2, level 3, and beyond. Here's the rule. Markets love to move in multiples of 3 from the opening range. That's not a coincidence. That's institutional math. When price breaks the range, your minimum target is level 1. If momentum is strong, level 3 is your runner. Scale out at level 1. Hold a position to level 3. Simple. Here's what most traders don't know. After a 3-level expansion, a 2-level retracement is normal. That's not a reversal. That's the market reloading. See the pullback from level 3 back to level 1? That's a continuation entry, not a reason to panic. Notice how those expansion levels align with previous session highs and lows. That's confluence. When 2 independent systems agree on a price, the probability of reaction goes through the roof. Level -7 aligned perfectly with the prior Asian low. The bounce was clean and predictable. Let me be direct about risk. Counter-trend trading is the fastest way to blow up a small account. The ORB Range Architect is designed to keep you with the dominant move. Here's how you find the continuation entry. After a strong 3-level move down, you're not looking for a reversal. You're waiting for the retracement to lose steam and price to reject a key level. When price pulled back to level -4, tested it multiple times and couldn't break higher. That was your continuation signal. 3 more levels down, right to level -10. The indicator shows where the next confluence zone is. You look for the candlestick confirmation, a bar that closes convincingly below the low of the previous bar, at the midline or at a session low, and you take the trade. Target the next level 3 cluster below. Stop above the last swing high. Let the map do the work. Here's the mindset shift that separates good traders from great ones. This indicator is not a buy-sell signal, it's a map. A map tells you the terrain, where the mountains are, where the valleys are. It doesn't tell you to walk, you decide when and how. Same here. The ORB Range Architect shows you the institutional landscape, where the ranges were set, where expansion is likely, what the targets are. Your job is to wait for the right entry signal at those mapped levels. The levels on this chart existed before price got there. Look at the precision. Price hits the level, reacts, moves to the next. That's not luck, that's market structure. And now you can read it. You can combine this with any strategy you already use. Momentum signals, order blocks, candlestick patterns. It all becomes more powerful when you're applying it at the right levels on the map. Let's switch to daily range mode. Same core concept, different time frame. In daily mode, the indicator maps the opening range of the entire day, the first 15 or 30 minutes after the daily candle opens, then projects expansion levels from there. The reference levels switch from session highs and lows to daily highs and lows, each with a date label so you always know which day it belongs to. Keep your look-back setting between 5 and 7 days. More than that and your chart gets heavy. Use the fill zones for visual clarity. You'll see a color layer for each day's range. Here's a setup to look for. Price creates the daily opening range, breaks the low, and on the retest of the range bottom, you see a rejection bar. That's your entry. Target level -1 or -2, clean and structured. For entries, lower time frames give you tighter precision. A 5-minute or 15-minute chart around the daily level gives you better risk-reward while keeping your directional bias from the higher time frame clear. Now we zoom out to the biggest picture, weekly range mode. Every Monday morning, the market reveals its institutional intent for the week through the opening range. With the ORB Range Architect on weekly mode, you see exactly where that range sits and what the expansion targets look like heading into Friday. Switch to a 15 or 30-minute chart. You'll see the week's opening range, the expansion levels, and the previous week's highs and lows, all plotted automatically. Here's a powerful weekly setup. The week opens, moves to the midline of the previous week's range, and holds. Perfect touch, immediate rejection, and the market runs straight to the weekly expansion target. Traders who got in around that midline touch, over $100 of move before the week closed. For swing traders, this is your framework. Watch Monday. See where price opens relative to the previous week's range. If it rejects a key expansion level, you know exactly what's likely to happen. Trade with the weekly intent. And watch for stop hunts at the previous week's highs. The market will drive above it, trigger retail stops, then reverse hard. The weekly map lets you anticipate that and position before the move. Let's talk about precision setups. Inside the sessions and expansion levels, you'll find specific patterns that signal high probability entries. 3 key ones. First, the fair value gap at a key level. Price approaches a session or daily level, prints a tiny gap where price jumped without trading, then retraces to fill it. That fill is your entry trigger. It happens fast. Stay alert. Second, the W pattern stop hunt. Price drops, takes out the recent low, triggering retail shorts, then immediately reverses into a W shape. When that second bottom holds above the first, and a bar closes above the previous candle's bodies, that's your long entry, with your stop below the W's lower wick. Third, confirmation candles. Look for bars that close above 2, 3, or 5 previous candles. The more bars it clears on the close, the more conviction. Combine that with an ORB expansion level underneath as support, and you have a high conviction entry. One final warning. The market will always hunt for predictable stops. Use the expansion levels and session lows to place your stops where retail traders wouldn't expect, and protect your position. One last feature, and this one's for the Fibonacci traders in the room. Instead of equal percentage expansion levels, switch to Fibonacci mode. This maps the classic Fib extensions, 1.0, 1.618, 2.618 from the opening range. And the reactions at those levels? Just as powerful. Price hits a Fibonacci expansion level and bounces, rejects, or explodes through it, exactly like the standard levels do. It's a different lens on the same institutional math. Pick the mode that fits your style. If you're already trading Fibonacci, this gives you session-anchored Fib levels automatically. If you prefer equal expansion steps, stick with the default mode. Either way, the edge is real. That's the ORB Range Architect. Sessions, daily, weekly, expansions, order blocks, Fibonacci. The complete toolkit for reading market structure at the institutional level. If this clicks for you, hit like. It helps the channel more than you know. Subscribe for more tutorials, and if you grab the indicator from the MQL5 market, drop us a review. Your feedback shapes what we build next. I'm Hadi from Market Atlas Labs. Let's get it.